Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we're starting out with a bare face, and today's video is just going to be kind of casual, kind of chatty. I'm going to really deep dive on technique. We're going to talk about brushes and tools. I will list all the products that I use in the description box and tag them on YouTube Shopping, but we're not going to be too focused on the makeup. We're going to be more focused on the technique and the brushes because you guys, we are celebrating 7 years of BK Beauty, and I can't believe that. I truly cannot believe that we launched BK Beauty 7 years ago right here on this YouTube channel. If you've been around since those days, please drop a comment down below and let me know if you saw that first launch video back in 2019 on August 1st. I cannot believe that's been 7 years. I still remember that video. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous, so excited, but so nervous. It's been a wild and amazing 7 years, and I'm so grateful for all of it, and I'm so grateful for you guys for supporting this brand and making seriously my wildest dreams come true. So thank you so much. To celebrate, we have our anniversary sale every year. So it is active right now on bkbeauty.com. The entire site is on sale. You can save up to 40%, you guys. So it's definitely one of our biggest sales of the year. And this year we actually created a few custom bundles that we haven't done in the past. So we have a few bundles of brush sets along with bags and brush soap where you can save an even deeper discount. And I'll have those 3 bundles listed in the description box. But yeah, just excited. I just wanted to sit, hang out, reflect, chat, and maybe do a little story time on BK Beauty while we're getting ready. So let's go ahead and kick it off. I have my skincare on and my tinted SPF. I'm going to go in with the Dior. Well, here I am talking about product. I told you I'm not going to talk about product. I'm going to try not to be too product focused. I'm going to go in with this foundation because it's hot, and this has been a really good go-to foundation for the summer because it's just long wearing and has a natural matte finish. And I'm gonna go in and apply this with the 101, you guys. So what is kind of special and unique about the 101 is a few things. One, its size. It's a pretty large foundation brush, which is great because it has a lot of surface coverage area, so you can knock your foundation out and blend it out really quickly. But also, I like to explain the best way to use this brush. So it's got shorter, more dense fibers here at the base, and then we have longer, flexible fibers here at the top of the brush. So if you're trying to get full coverage, you'll want to use this part of the brush and just kind of bounce it. When you're trying to shear out or really blend and spread a product, you can use the longer fibers. So I always start by loading my brush up and kind of blending it on my hand. That way you don't pick up too much product. And then I go to the face and I start pressing, and as you notice, I'm also moving the brush around the face. So I'm not focusing in one little spot and just spending too much time there. I'm really moving it around. That way I don't over apply product and apply too much product in one area. So the key is just kind of balance it and move it. And you'll see that that really blends it out itself. Like I don't really need to go in and spread it. On the jawline, I will always do a little bit of this action just to kind of shear out and make sure we don't have any lines of demarcation. But this brush is beautiful in the sense that it really does blend it out. If you just tap, it's so easy. Look how pretty that is. Look at that coverage. Seamless, no streaks, so nice. So this is actually part of our Flawless and Fresh bundle. So you can get this brush, our A506 concealer brush, and our 109 brush in a bundle set with a small soap. And I think that bundle is like, I think it's like $65 for all 3 brushes plus the soap, which is a really great deal. Okay, perfect. So pre-blending on your hand, like I was doing, in my opinion, is the best way to apply foundation if you want a really natural skin-like finish. It's the best way to avoid applying too much product. We see a lot of videos, you guys, where creators take the foundation and they do this and they do this, and I know that that makes really interesting content. It's visually appealing to watch that, but 9 times out of 10, you are applying way more product than you actually need. But you know what? As I say that, at the same time, I'm like, you know what? If you like to apply a lot of product, so be it. Who am I to tell you that's wrong? It's not wrong. I'm just saying, like, if you feel like your makeup's too heavy, or you feel like it's accentuating texture on the skin, then pulling back on the amount of product you use might be an easy fix for that. Okay, then I'm going to go in and apply concealer. I'm going to go in with this Double Wear from Estee Lauder. I love this one, nice and thin and long wearing. I think it's impossible for me not to talk about product. And for technique, I always like to put my concealer in the inner corner and the outer corner. Okay, now I'm gonna go in, what brush do we wanna use? Should we use the A506 just because we just talked about that bundle? Let me see if I can find one. Okay, here we go. Got my A506. And I'm just gonna go right in the inner corner and do the same technique. We're looking up and we are just tapping and pressing the product into the skin. Now when you're blending out concealer, try and look up because it's gonna help stretch that skin. Now what I like to do is I like to go and blend and then wipe my brush on a paper towel to remove any excess product. And then I'll go to the other side and blend that out. Concealer is one of those products where I think most of the time we over apply it. And so the best way to fix that is just to continue to remove excess product off your brush as you go back and blend. Because if you remove a lot of product from your brush and then you go and tap, it starts to almost work as like a little eraser. It'll pick up any excess product that's hanging out in, little creases under the eye or little lines. So that's what you want to do. You want to continue to remove excess product. Perfect. And I like to really look up and spend a little extra time there. The more pressing you do, the less creasing that you will have. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Oh, that concealer is so good, isn't it? So, so good. Okay, my friends, what we're going to do now is we are going to move into a little bit of bronzer, and I'm not seeing a bronzer here that I want to work with, so let me go grab one. Okay, I'm going to go in with the Hung Van Gogh cream bronzer in this little palette, and I'm using the 109 brush, and I'm just going to kind of bounce it into the product. This is like a solid cream, so I am putting some pressure on there, but the same technique, I'm gonna go to the back of my hand and kind of blot it just to get off any excess. Do you see how much product came off of that? That way I don't apply it to the face and apply too much. It's always best to start, look at that. Do you see how pigmented this product is? When you're working with a product like this and you feel like, oh wow, that's a lot of product, the best thing you can do is just move your brush around the face and all the areas that you plan on applying that product. So rather than stay in that one area and try and blend out, all you're doing is you're adding more and more product. So just kind of work around and spread it. That way you distribute that product all across the face instead of that one area. Oh, this is so pretty. This is such a great product. It's like really buttery, really easy to blend. Now I have a little bit more here than I would like. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna take my foundation brush and I'm just gonna kind of tap it in the area I wanna almost erase. And do you see what that did? It just cut that down. Oh, so pretty, so smooth. This is a really beautiful, smooth product. The only thing I would say is kind of blot it so you don't over apply. And this is the 109, and we are doing the same technique that we've done with the foundation and the concealer. Tapping, tapping, tapping to deposit the product, but also blend at the same time. And then I like to go in the hairline. It just gives a more natural look to your bronzer. If you think about getting a suntan, you're not just gonna get that right there, right? You're going to get it kind of all over the face. This just warms up the face. So pretty. Okay, then we're going to also do a little bit on the side of the nose. Perfect. This brush is the perfect size to really do, everything with. If there's one brush for complexion that I think can do it all when it comes to cream or liquid products, I would say it's the 109. You could do your foundation with this, you can do your concealer with this, you can do your cream bronzer, cream blush. It's really incredible. I'm gonna go back and take that foundation brush, just kind of soften the bronzer on the nose a little bit so it's a little more natural and not so obvious. Okay, perfect. We're getting there, my friends. Okay, next we're gonna go in and apply some cheek color. And I'm going to work with this blush from Sarah Creel. This is the Blurring Pressed Mousse Blush. This is the shade Loveful. And I'm gonna go in with the N13 to apply this. We're just gonna kind of pick up the product and tap it on the cheek. What I love about the N20 is it's a diffusing brush. So if you look closely, the fibers at the tip are long. They're also really fluffy and there's a lot of space between them. So it's not a dense brush. You can tell the density by like looking at this part of the brush head, right? So if you look at a brush like this, for example, the N19, you can see this one's a lot more dense. Do you see how spread apart the fibers are and just how packed they are? So this is a very high dense brush and this is a light kind of airy brush. The lighter the brush, the more kind of control you have over how much product you apply. If you want to apply really light sheer product, you can do that. You can always apply more by just building, but your first application is going to be light and sheer. This blush is pretty. It took me a minute to get on board with this. The first time I used it, I got these little chunks on the skin, but I think that was just like that top layer that I needed to work through. Very pretty. Now with this brush, if you want more impact, you just want to put more pressure. So if you notice, as I'm pressing it on my skin, I'm pressing it so that the fibers are kind of flattening out on my face. That means I'm putting a lot of pressure and I'm gonna get the most payoff. If I wanted to apply a product really, really light and sheer, I would just use let me see if I can get it, but there we go. I would just use the tips of those fibers and I would lightly dust it across the skin. But by actually pressing and flattening them out, I'm applying more product. This brush is beautiful for blush, it's beautiful for highlighter, and I'm talking about any formula, so whether it's liquid or cream or powder, it's really, really nice. People also love to use this for their foundations. If you're working with like a skin tint or a foundation like that, this brush applies beautifully with that. Okay, next I'm gonna go and I'm gonna set with a little powder. What powder am I gonna use? I'm gonna use my Huda Beauty powder. That's the one I have in front of me. We're gonna go with this one. This is the Easy Bake powder. And I'm going to take my N13 for this. I love this brush for setting powder because it's got this side here which has darker fibers. This is great for all your powder products. This side is great for all your cream products. And I love how it's nice and flat, so I can really just go in and press it on the skin. And I'm just going to set really on the forehead and maybe in the center of the face and underneath the eyes. Because I use more of a matte longwear foundation, I don't really need to set all over with powder. It's kind of got a self-setting feature to it. So I'm just gonna set in the areas that I produce a little more oil, which is always the center of the face, around the nose and the forehead. And then of course I always set under the eyes just because concealer will crease. It just will, because we have a lot of expression lines, we're smiling, we get all this happening. When you have makeup, it's gonna move, you know, it's just gonna move. It's just how it is. Okay, we're gonna keep the eyes kind of simple today, you guys. I actually filmed a video this morning and I'm using some of the same products from that video. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna use the shade Taupe from Bobbi Brown. It's a longwear cream shadow stick. And I'm just going to kind of fill in my whole lid with this, from the lashes to the crease. And I am going to work quickly. The beauty of this formula is it's creamy, so you have time to kind of move it and spread it. But you don't have too much time, so you don't want to let it sit for too long because once it sets, it will dry down. So now I'm using the N16 brush and I'm just kind of blending this out. So I'm taking the flat side and I'm pressing to really spread the product. Then I'm taking the little tip of it to just kind of blend and diffuse out the crease a bit. This brush is a concealer brush, but it really works great for liquid or cream shadows as well. That's what I love to use it for. I love this brush for liquid or cream shadows. It's kind of got the same technology in the fibers that the N20 does, that one we used for blush, in the sense that it has some longer fibers at the tip. I'll show you. So you see how it has the longer fibers at the tip? You can just use those fibers real light to really get this diffused look in the crease, or you can lay it flat to really move a cream product, like a thicker cream product. If you're using liquid shadows with it and it's not as thick as a cream, you can just use the tip. But I just love how this brush blends out a good liquid eyeshadow. Perfect. Okay, next we're gonna go into my Makeup by Mario Master Mattes Neutral Palette. I love this palette, it's my go-to. And I'm gonna grab the BK Beauty 206 brush. This is a nice eyeshadow brush. It's got a flat side so you can pack on shadow, but it's also got a long, fluffier tip so you can use this in the crease too. I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna grab these two light shades here and we are just gonna highlight the brow real softly just to give a little bit of lift to the brow. Also, I took that taupe shade up a little higher than I had planned, so I need to go back and add some lightness there so the eyes don't look too dark. Perfect, okay. Perfect. Now, I'm not gonna do too, I feel like I need to lighten the lid a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is, what should we do? Let's go in here. I'm gonna grab this shade right here, and we're just gonna kind of tap this right here on the inner corner just to soften it a bit. Perfect. Okay. Okay, the lid is a little darker than I intended, so what I'm gonna do to balance that out is we're gonna keep the lower lash line really nice and clean. Okay, another way you can brighten an eye look if you feel like you've gone a little too dark, which I kind of do, I'm gonna take a shimmer color and I'm gonna apply that for my liner. This is the Bobbi Brown Golden Bronze Longwear Cream Shadow Stick, and this is definitely not darker than the shadow I just used, which normally for liner we go with something darker. This is about the same tone, but it's got a lot of shimmer to it. So I'm just gonna kind of apply this to the very base of the lid, almost like a shadow. Then I'm gonna go back and we're gonna take the BK Beauty N22. This is a nice pencil brush. Do you see this? It has a nice precise tip, but even though it's got a precise tip, you can see that it's really soft and flexible. It's very comfortable. And what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna take this brush and we're just gonna kind of smudge that cream shadow. And I might have waited a little too long and it's drying it down a little bit, but that's okay. You kind of have to work with these quickly, you guys. But I'm just working the brush and pressing it in to spread that shadow. So what we've kind of done is we've lightened that eyeshadow a bit. You can also take the brush directly to the cream shadow stick. Where's mine? So I'm going to take this directly to here, and there we go. We're going to kind of brush it on. Perfect. Oh, so pretty. Perfect. There we go. Now I've got a little lightness because that shimmer, even though this color isn't lighter than that color, it has shimmer. So what shimmer does is it reflects light and it just gives a little lightness to the eye. I'm not going to add any liner because I don't want to deepen this up at all. I'm just going to go in with my mascara. I'm using the Lash Latex Mascara by YSL. And we are going to build a nice pretty lash with this. So I really would love to know, those of you that have been here since the beginning, I know there's some of you watching, I hope there's some of you watching, will you drop a comment down below and let me know if you were one of the very early customers or if you've just been here watching my videos since the beginning. You know, I started my YouTube channel 12 years ago. I was actually pregnant with Kate when I started my channel, and now she's going to be a 7th grader, which is so wild to think about. When I started my channel, it truly was an outlet for me because I had been a wedding makeup artist for a long time, but I was about to have my second baby. I already had a 2-year-old, and then I was, you know, obviously pregnant with Kate. And with wedding makeup, I just knew I was going to be closing that chapter of my life because, you know, you commit to these weddings so far in advance. You know, brides would book me 10 months out, you know, and of course I was free the weekend that they booked me, but then the weekend comes along and now my daughter has invited to a birthday party or she's got a soccer game. I just knew there was going to be things coming on the weekends that was going to, I knew that I wanted to stop doing wedding makeup, but I loved makeup. I really truly loved it. And the idea of like closing that business and not having makeup in my life anymore in some form, I was struggling with that. And so I started a YouTube channel because I figured this is an easy way for me to keep this passion in my life. There's no commitment to this. Like, I'm not getting paid to do this. I don't like have to do this. I can really do this when I want to do it, when the kids are asleep and on weekends. There's no commitment to anyone. It's just for myself. And so that's why I started YouTube videos, truly just for that like outlet to share makeup. I really had no idea that it would ever lead to, I mean, I never even thought that I would be earning an income off of my channel. And if you've been around, you've heard the story before, but for 3 years, I created videos and uploaded them to YouTube, and I didn't make any money, like nothing at all. I didn't make any AdSense. I didn't work with brands. I didn't use affiliate links. I just didn't know about it. Like, I just didn't know that you could do that. It was about 3 years in when I started realizing that I could use affiliate links and I could monetize my channel a bit. And then, you know, that turned into a business. And then we had BK Beauty. We launched BK Beauty 2 years after that. So it's really just been a wild ride. And I look back and I'm like, starting my YouTube channel was the best thing I've ever done, the best decision I could have made. I mean, maybe not marrying my husband was, having children, but you get what I'm saying. Like, starting that YouTube channel was such a small little decision that I thought was so insignificant, and it ended up leading to, you know, starting a brand that would change my life. So I'm so grateful. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to you guys. Like, I could start a brand all day long, but if I don't have the support of customers and people that watch my content, like that wouldn't matter. So I always just want to express my gratitude towards you guys, because none of this would be possible without you. So thank you so much for all the support you've shown. And again, even if you've never ordered BK Beauty, just being here, watching my videos, giving me this platform means more than you know. So thank you. Okay, how are we feeling about the eyes? Do we feel like we're looking at it? I feel like I need to blend that crease out a bit. I don't think I blended that out. I let it dry a little too long. So I'm going back in with the N16 and just really kind of working that and spreading that out. Perfect. Okay, I want a little bit more blush. Do we ever go in and say, you know what, we need more blush? I'm gonna take the 109 because I'm working with this blush that's like a cushion formula. So a cushion formula is like a cream, but it's not super emollient and creamy like most creams are. It's got, it's a little bit more dense, and so you need a brush with a little more density to pick it up. So I'm using the 109, and this is the same brush I used for the bronzer, but I'm using this brush and we're just going to tap it in the area that I want to build. So pretty. This formula is nice. It's like a cream and powder hybrid, honestly. It's very lightweight, so it doesn't feel like a cream, but it gives a pretty soft glow like a cream does. It's really nice. Perfect. Okay, friends, after looking at the shadow, I want to add a little something in the crease to kind of soften this harsh line right here. So I'm going to take my N13. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to use my N13. I'm going to use the 202. So let me explain the reason why I decided to change brushes here. So these are both crease brushes. They both are great at blending shadow in the crease. Okay, so the N13 is a little bit more precise. So this gives you a little bit more control with placement, where the 202 is a little bit wider and a little fluffier. So both are both have this pro about them. They're both going to blend out shadow beautifully. This is really great if you want to be in a little tighter space. This is really great if you really want to diffuse a shadow out, which is what I want to do now. So I'm going to go with the 202, and I'm just going to go into this shadow right here, and we are just going to softly kind of sweep this back and forth in the crease. It's about the same tone as what I have on the lid, but it's just allowing me to get a little softer, more airbrushed edge to my shadow than I had before. Perfect. And if you remember, I'm leaving the lower lashes bare, so I'm not going to add any eyeliner or any shadow down there. We're just going to keep it clean with the mascara, because I think the eyelid is heavy enough and I don't want it to be too heavy. Perfect. Okay, last, you guys, we're going to line the lips, and I'm going to go in with this lip liner from e.l.f. This is the shade Mauve Aside, and we're just going to line the lips. And I'm going to kind of fill them in. This liner is really creamy, which I love. It's such a great liner. I'm going to fill it in. Perfect. And then for lip color, ooh, I'm going to use this lip stick from e.l.f. in the shade Rose Latte. It's like this balmy, shiny, hydrating texture. Not super long wearing, but really pretty. So nice. Okay. Lovely. I feel like I want to powder a little bit more. So I'm going to take my Huda Beauty powder, and what brush do I want to use? I'm going to use the N13. No, I'm not sorry, the N13, the N15. This is a really nice powder brush. I love this brush for every face shape because it's not too big, it's not too small. It's nice because it's not too dense, it's not too fluffy, it's right there in the middle of the road, which means you can build full coverage from a powder if you want. Like if you're doing a powder foundation, you can really build it to get full coverage. Or you can get something nice and light, a light sheer application. It's really in how you use the brush. So I want something light and sheer, so I'm just using the tip, and I'm just using really soft pressure and sweeping it across the face, okay? If I were going in with a powder and I really wanted to pack it on, I would just press and pack it on and really load the brush up. So again, the more pressure you put, the more you're packing on a product, and the lighter pressure, the more light application you're gonna get. Perfect. Okay, I think we're good. Yes, makeup is looking good. Okay, so this is the finished look. I hope you learned a thing or two about technique, about brushes. I'll have all the details to BK Beauty's anniversary sale in the description box below. Again, thank you so much for being here, for watching my videos, for shopping BK Beauty. I'm so excited to celebrate 7 years, and I feel like in some ways I hear 7 years, and I'm like, gosh, that's been 7 years, is a long time. But then in other times I'm like, I feel like we're just getting started. Like, I know that I'll be making videos when we celebrate our 10 year and our 12 year and our 15 year. So very excited. There is still a lot more to come for BK Beauty. Just stay tuned, you guys. We have some big, big things coming very soon. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.